wanted to start with special teams. What's been your implementation been like here early on in fall camp?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been good to be able to kind of continue on what we started in the spring. And I think that continuity, laying the foundation that like we did in the springtime, has helped us accelerate where we've been at. We've been able to use, the early part of this fall camp to kind of revisit what those foundational things are, but also be able to kind of move the scheme along a little bit, and we feel really good where we're at right now.
We talked to Matt a little bit about your 3 field goal kickers. Just what are your thoughts on how that's shaping up, and what are each of the three guys bring to the table?
Yeah, we're excited about it. Like we said, back in the wintertime, we treat it like any other position. Competition is important, and I think we've done a nice job of improving just the overall talent in that room. And so the competition is good right now. Every single day, those guys are put in pressure situations in front of the team, and they're each doing stuff that's really encouraging.
Specifically with Jace, as a returning guy that had a difficult at times season last year and success, how do you approach what he's doing this fall, personally and within how you guys are trying to build things?
Yeah, I think the thing with Jace to remember too is that he was young a year ago. So just again, like any other position, we're trying to develop our kids to become the best that they can be. And I think that's the same thing with Jace. Is he's a talented kid, he's athletic, he's a great competitor, and he's worked his tail off this offseason. He wants to be the best, absolute best player he can be. So just understanding what that means from a technical standpoint, because he has the mindset, and really just continue to propel him forward from a technique perspective.
Coach, in recent seasons, Iowa State has been more apt to fair catch punt returns rather than try to go out and return them or anything like that, kind of playing on the safe side. I was wondering what your philosophy was on punt return specifically.
Yeah, punt return is an important unit. The most yards in the football game on one player exchange on punt returns. We really value those reps that we take. And I think what's really important for successful punt return teams is the decision making that the returner has, and just situational awareness. There's times to return them, and we want to be able to. There's yards to be had on punt return. We want to take those yards. But then there's times where the best yardage you can get is eliminating a runoff or not catching the ball. So there's times where we need to pressure the kick. There's times where we need to make sure that we secure the kick and don't get pinned in, deep into our territory. Then there's going to be opportunities for us to return the ball. And we have, Jalen Knowles coming back, and he's an elite returner. We've got other guys to be there too. So we're excited about, I think, some improvement we can show in that area.
Coach, can you expand on your background a little bit? Because Coach Campbell talked about you building a program, quote unquote, from scratch. I wonder what your duties were like in that arena, and just how having to do so many things prepared you for the position you're in now.
Yeah, when Coach says from scratch, he's not exaggerating. That's what it was. I was 27 years old when they hired me at Indiana Wesleyan to start the football program, and we were employee number 1. And we showed up, and there was a pile of dirt getting moved, and there was stadium renderings, and the rest was on us. And so when we took that on, that was a year of that was building the stadium. The next year was building your roster. The third year was playing football games, and I think that understanding, I learned so much about myself and the profession in that experience, and some ups and some downs. So now it's in a way, it's a microcosm of what I do now. I have to balance a lot of different things in my world, which I'm really thankful for. But I think that the old experience of being a head coach and having it all on my plate and having to balance that, I think has uniquely prepared me to try to be successful in this position. So in times where it can get tough, I try to lean on those past experiences.
You've got a game on Saturday, let's say. Who would you start at running back?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I don't think we have that guy right now. Similar to what we're talking with the kicker position, this is the deepest running back room I think we've had in a while. And even if you look at, these young guys coming in, and we've got returners, we've got young guys, and these returners are even better than they were because of our off-season training. So I'm not sure. If you were to watch us in practice, you would see a rotation right now, and we're just going to keep on working on that.
Hey, Coach, what is What has been, really so impressive about your two freshman tailbacks in Abu and Carson so far?
Yeah, well, one, they're talented, so that's impressive. They have really raised the floor of the running back room, and it's really pretty incredible. But their ability to pick things up. I mean, you look at Carson Hansen, he ran at a full house wing T offense growing up, up in Minnesota, and is nothing like our offense in a lot of ways. And he has showed up and he has taken to it. Abu is a guy who's incredibly talented. He does all the other sports, growing up, and then now he's his first time where it's all football. And you get to see that, those guys both learn differently, but they're extremely gifted, but they're not afraid of the moment because they're willing to absorb all the information. So the fact that they can be in there taking reps like they have been and experience success at times is really a credit to their ability to absorb the information.
Sorry, Nick, about that. What adjustments have you made personally to the running back room and that you've seen a difference between all the guys in there?
Yeah, I think one thing is we have really tried hard. Coach, Sheldon Croney, who's our GA, running backs GA, we've worked hard to really focus on what are the things we can control. Man, you see a big run at running back, and we've had a lot of them at Iowa State in the past. There's a lot that it takes to get you to that point. But, man, you have to have consistent footwork. You have to know what your aiming point is. You need to know what you're reading. And understanding those are things we can control. We can't really control things past the line of scrimmage at times. I tell our guys, man, what we're trying to do is give you the tools of those controllable variables to get you to a point to be successful. And then after that, you're a Power 5 running back, and you got to earn your scholarship check. And that's just part of it. And the more and more we add talent to that room like we have right now, and the consistency of play, we want to be a consistent group that has the ability to make a big play. And I think that's really what defines who we are right now.
Have you started to see that consistency?
I have. I mean, you look at a guy like Eli Sanders, who's been in the program for a little while, and he's always been a good running back, but man, the off-season training, the way that he approaches every day in practice, the maturity, he's just become a consistent force for us. Cartavius has been a consistent force. And then we got 3 new guys who, man, that is the standard now, is consistency and precision. And I think that's starting to show. And I hope that it continues to grow and you see it for, 12-plus Saturdays this year.
Coach, is there such a thing as a philosophy for special teams? Because, as you alluded to, you're dealing with very different things.
Yeah.
A punter, how do you block for that? How do you get a field goal kicker to stay focused?
Yeah.
A lot of different things happening, whether it be coverage or kicking.
Yeah, I think our philosophy is this. We talk about we want to be the edge. We want to be the edge in big wins. We don't want to be the reason for a tough loss. So I think understanding in special teams, man, offense has an objective. Offense, their objective is score points. Defense, their objective is keep points off the board. Our job is unique because we greatly impact both of those objectives. So we don't want to be nearsighted. We don't just play a special teams play. We're playing a special teams play for a reason. It's to set up the next offense or defense. Our offense, defense come on the field, trying to set them up for success. So we want to stay positive and eliminate negative plays. And we really want to value field position. Man, we want to try to set up. If our defense is coming on the field, we want to set up them with the best chance of preventing a score based on field position percentages. So everything we do matters, whether that is if we fair catch a kickoff or whether or not we get 4 yards on a punt return. Those things matter. Whether or not we can make a tackle for a loss on kickoff, or if we can try to inch 3 more yards on a punt, if we can squeeze it out. So every yard matters, but we really want to be a positive force for our football team, and we don't want us to look back on a Saturday and say, because of special teams, there was negative things that kept us from winning. We want us to look at special teams as a whole, and that's more than just a long snapper and a kicker and a punter. We want to look at special teams as a whole, and for us to say the special teams unit helped, the Cyclone offense and defense go win the game, and we think we have a unique role in that.
From what you maybe have watched in Cartavius last season on film or whatever, getting yourself up to speed, how all are the ways he's improved this season through 6 camp practices? Yeah. What are you impressed with there?
Yeah, what Cartavius has that he was given from birth is just he's forceful. Man, he is strong, and so he's a hard tackle. He's a forceful and he's a natural running back. But I do think this consistency of play, I think and that comes with him getting older. But just being really consistent has been an improvement. I think his pass protection has been an improvement. I think he's giving himself high expectations on his pass protection, and he wants to hit that. And as big and strong as he was a year ago, you're going to get a chance to see he's bigger and stronger, which is a good thing for us. And understanding, man, if I can be a disciplined runner, it's not always about 70 yards. Sometimes it's about 7. And our ability to understand that, and that's what he's, with him missing the spring, him getting a chance to do that now, and that's really helping his growth.
And with Eli, a lot of talk about how he's become like that more complete running back. What's went into that? I mean, what specifically is making him that?
Yeah, I think if you think about, we're talking about 70 versus 7. In high school, it's fun to get 70, right? And it's easier to get 70 when you're this level of player. Well, at this level, man, 70 doesn't come along very often. And to get to 70, you better know how to run the ball. That might just give us 3.5 to 4. But that same discipline to give us an important 4 yards is what's going to allow us the opportunity to hit the ball for 70 yards. So that's where Eli's really changed. Is he's understood if I can be a disciplined runner and express my speed vertically, that's where I've got a chance to be really successful here. So he's not just this kid who runs really fast and can catch it out of the backfield. He's turned himself into a disciplined runner in between the tackles. And again, his offseason has allowed him to finish those runs and get us 4 yards and get us 5 yards. And then his speed gives him the ability to break it for bigger if he has the opportunity.
Yeah, hey Coach, how have you used your experience building up a program from ground level to balancing your time, energy, resources to running backs and whole unit?
Yeah, it is tough. It's a unique situation. I wouldn't be able to do it with guys who really help out with Coach Croney and in our special team staff, and Coach Walling, Coach Rattell, and Coach Grandy. I mean, those guys, they have to, I'm bouncing in and bouncing back and forth, and so grateful for the opportunity to do it. But those guys have done a nice job of there's times where I got to delegate, and those guys are doing a load of the work, and then there's times where it's my time to have to make a decision, and couldn't do it without the structure that has been given to us from Coach Campbell, and we're enjoying that process. We're getting better and better at it, and training camp's a time for us to figure it out too. We get a chance to work on that structure system before we head into the regular season. But I do think that, like I said, uniquely equipped to try to balance all those things. And we're just excited to have the chance to do it here.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.